I didn't even mention this. Hell, I didn't even notice it, Tom. The headset. I absolutely love
Yeah,
it. I didn't
yeah, my
even get any
travel.
hold. I didn't even get any hold music, and
No,
here we are.
yeah,
Tom
sorry.
called.
I do. I look like I'm making some calls to bug people at dinner
You
time.
know, years ago, and I actually use one of those headsets that I'm making fun of right
Yeah.
now. Um, years ago, I used to work in the office, and I would remember there was this young lady that worked with me, Sarah, and she would always say, "I'm not wearing a headset. I'm not Britney Spears." So, in that light, we are off and rolling as everybody's officially into the stream. Green check marks across the board. Good evening, Broncos country. It is MHI, Thomas Hall, Luke Patterson coming at you. You can catch us every Wednesday night at 6 p.m. Mountain, where we are breaking down the latest with your Denver Broncos. And Tom, I got to say, after taking my victory laps for 2 weeks, and yes, I took 2-week victory laps for the Philadelphia Eagles game, I had to eat a lot of crow this last week because, yes, I still picked the Broncos to beat the Jets, but can we even say beat? The defense beat the Jets, sure. The Broncos offense, they somehow just managed to survive.
Yeah, 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 that was it was a rough game, man, when it comes from the offense and special teams, but luckily the defense was so dominating that they basically won the game for them. I mean, -10 passing yards for
Can you believe
the
that?
Jets. That's that's pretty good defense.
Well, and what's with it? What's with the Jets? 13-11, and then like the previous year, it was a
Yeah.
similar score. We talked about it last Wednesday night. And again, last Wednesday night, we're talking about a Broncos defensive player of the week for the AFC and Nick Benito. And I don't know. I got to check my calendar. I got to see what the hell's wrong with me because they're telling me it happened again this week, Tom. But
Yeah.
however, Jonathon Cooper is the man of the hour. Extra, extra. You can read all about it over at milehighhuddle.com. Jonathon Cooper gets named AFC Defensive Player of the Week for a knockout performance against the New York Jets. 5 tackles, 2 solo, 2 quarterback hits, or
Yeah.
excuse me, 2 sacks, 3 quarterback hits, and 1 tackle for a loss. Tom, our pass rushers, they're surging. You're the Nick Benito guy. I'm the Jonathon Cooper guy. Life is pretty good here on MHI.
Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, they're so far ahead of everybody else on sacks. They're on pace to break the all-time record, which is pretty crazy, really, because those were records that have been held for quite a while back in the day when quarterbacks could be getting after without any penalties and all that kind of stuff. So
Back in the day, like you've
yeah,
had Mecklenburg on Legends, and we've got a huge teaser for this show, a
yeah,
potential special guest next week on MHI. So I encourage everybody head back and take a look at some of those legends. You can get those wherever you listen to these MHH podcasts. Tom, you're exactly right, man. A defensive knockout of a performance. We got to get into some Jets leftovers. Another New York team is on the docket for the Broncos this week as the
yeah.
Giants come to town, and it is a huge week for us here at MHH, at MHI, our publication, our mothership. It's the official MHH meet and greet this Sunday. We have been talking about this since training camp last summer. It's a fun event every single year that MHH puts on. Come hang out with us. Look for the big blue tent in Lot D, as in Delta, and let's get the Broncos winning. They're undefeated at home, Tom. They're undefeated against rookie quarterbacks. They're undefeated in the month of October. They're on a 2-game road winning trip, 3-game win streak. I'm just delighted that this is where we're at, and I'm confused. And maybe you could clear this up a little bit for me, Tom. I'm looking on social media. It's almost as if the Broncos lost to the Jets last week. I ask you once more, not for the last time, do ugly wins matter?
Yeah, every win matters. And you never know what team's going to show up. That's the problem. I think people are upset because they don't know what Broncos team is going to show up. Is it going to be a terrible team or terrible offense and a good defense? I mean, but the thing of it is you got to understand they travel to London. It's never easy to do that. The Jets, even though we're 0-5 at the time, they're still NFL caliber players. So, mistakes are made in those situations. So I can kind of give them a pass. But hey, if they won, that's all that matters. Now, is that type of win going to get them deep in the playoffs? No. they've got to get better. They have to get better on offense. They have to get better on special teams because they can't have their defense carrying them all the time.
Special teams, Tom, they were not that special.
No, they were awful. Terrible special teams. I mean, they spotted them with, the special teams spotted them points, the offense with the fumble. I mean, it should have been a much better performance, and I think people are upset because it wasn't a blowout win that people were expecting. I was expecting it, and hey, they still won, and that's what matters. Go figure out your offense.
It's going back to the office and having to face your buddy, Jets buddy, gangrene guy. There's only like one of them per every, million people. They're few and far between, at least on the East Coast. It's one of those things where you got to face Jets fan and you're like, I don't want to go to work tomorrow and face this guy. Not because you lost, but because Jets fans going to be sitting there saying, I thought it was a blowout. Justin Fields, Sean Payton, Bo Nix. I don't care. The Broncos got the dub. I was talking to my wife. We're watching the game. I'm nearly pulling my hair out, Tom. And it's just like, can you imagine what the plane ride would have been like across the Atlantic with an L? There was no way Hufanga and that Denver defense was letting that happen. No way. Club dub all the way across the Atlantic. And before we go any further, speaking of club dub, C. Chang was the very first one in here tonight. A huge mile-high salute to C. Thank you very much, and welcome to MHI. Let's go Broncos. I hope Dre will play. Hopefully, Dre will stay healthy. News of the day out of Broncos country, if you will. We've had so much news this week, Tom. We got a lot of transaction we got to get to, a ton to get to at milehighhuddle.com. Talk to me a little bit about Dre Greenlaw.
Well, I hope he's ready to play. I mean, they may ease him in a little bit, but man, if he's healthy, get him out there because they desperately need better linebacker play, from my opinion. Even though the defense is
officially designated to come back from IR today. So you're referencing some limited practice time. They're teasing the idea of seeing Dre Greenlaw this Sunday.
Yeah, and it would be, I can imagine what this defense is going to be like with a healthy, full to go Dre Greenlaw playing in the inside linebacker spot. It's going to lift this team even higher, if you could say that, with the defense even higher. So I'm excited for his return. I don't know what to expect yet because we haven't seen him at all. He hasn't even
prized
practiced,
free agent.
So,
can't get him on the field.
Right. So I'm looking forward to seeing what he has to provide, and I'm looking forward to seeing that upgrade in that interior of the linebacking crew.
I'm worried, and I'm going to ask Tom a little bit later in the show what probability he puts Dre Greenlaw out there on Wednesday, right? We don't know. Things can change a lot between Wednesday and Sunday. We're going to get into the Broncos injury report. We got to talk about that O-line. I was thinking about you, Tom, last week during the game. I stole your Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. It was one of my takeaways. You can still read that over at milehighhuddle.com. And guys, speaking of Dre Greenlaw, well, he came in as the prized big dog, right, of the Denver Broncos defense, this free agent that's supposed to come out here. Well, so far he's been nothing but an underdog, but that's not always a bad thing, guys. And speaking of underdog, football season is in full swing. Underdog is the best place to get in on all the action and win money. Playing on Underdog, well, it's easy. You just pick whether your favorite players will go higher or lower on stats like touchdowns, receiving yards, interceptions, and more.
That's right. Get your picks right, and you could win up to 5,000 times your cash. You can play with as little as $1. So if you think you've got a bead on what Bo Nix's stats are going to be this week, download Underdog and win some money.
Boom, guys. I have so much fun playing Underdog and winning money while watching football. Well, that's a touchdown, guys. Download the app today. Sign up with code MHuddle to score $50 in bonus funds when you play your very first $5. That's promo code MHuddle. Millions of fans have already won billions making picks on Underdog. Will you be next? Underdog. Make picks, win money.
19 plus in Alabama and Nebraska. 19 plus in Colorado for some games. 21 plus in Arizona, Massachusetts, and Virginia, and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/web/play and get terms _DFS_.html for details. Offer not valid in Maryland, Michigan, New Jersey, Ohio, and Pennsylvania. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.org. In New York, call the 24/7 Hope line at 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369.
Boom. Broncos country. It is MHI, Mile High Insiders, hosted by Thomas Hall, yours truly, Luke Patterson. We rock with you every Wednesday night. We are talking Broncos. Our first official little segment is out of the way, if you will, where we come on and we both kind of monologue for a little bit and get some, feelings out. And then we want to hear from you, Broncos country. We want to hear from the pulse of the people. And our guy, David Papa Bear, is kicking us off, man. And if y'all haven't ever been to an MHH meet and greet, I encourage anyone, if you have the ability to go, enjoy yourself. It's a fun afternoon, morning, depending on what time you get there. It's a true cool event, man, where you have access to some of your favorite podcast hosts, writers. There's no big time in anybody. There's no egos. There's none of that. We like to have a good, fun time here at MHH. Look for the big blue tent in Lot D. It's where I got to meet Papa Bear, right? Tom, you and Papa Bear having a few cold pops and some barbecue before the Broncos and the Packers just, a year ago, a couple years ago. And David coming in here saying, good evening, Broncos country. Flag in the ground. 13-4. David, of course, a member of the MHH exclusive community. Wow, 13-4. Tom, you started to get after me, and David started to get after me last week, and I got grouchy because you start throwing out these predictions, and then you guys are the reason the Broncos barely beat the Jets, right? We're starting to count chickens before we hatch a little bit, Tom. Dave, I need you to pump the brakes.
Yeah, well, I mean, again, I'll just say we can say anything we want. It's the team I don't want getting cocky and talking about winning a bunch of games before they've won. But as a host of MHI, it doesn't matter. I'm not jinxing anybody.
This is your fault, Tom. I put it on you, but no, it's interesting because you're right. And Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde thing with this offense, it's totally there. And I saw some clips, saw some YouTube shorts over there of Chad and Zach talking about Sean Payton's play calling, and we can get into that too, and whether or not the script is archaic or can it be evolved in 2025. I want to let everybody sound off on that because it's a hot and relevant topic here in Broncos country. But before we do, David Yonkin, another member of the MHH community, guys, head on over to YouTube, smash the subscribe button, and gain all kinds of access to MHH content that you cannot find anywhere else. Throckmorton or Palcho, which one for left guard? Yeah, David, how about this? Tom, chat, everybody. I was really shocked to look at Mike Kliss's Twitter after the Jets game. Hours passed, 24 hours passed, to find out that Matt Pert, who made his very first start of the 2025 season at left guard for Ben Powers, who a week prior got moved to IR. I thought Matt Pert was just struggling. I thought Matt Pert just couldn't play football. 3 flags in the first half alone, a ton of missed assignments. No, Matt Pert blew his knee out, Tom. He blew his knee out, played every snap. He was quite literally surviving in the left guard trenches of the NFL. What does that mean for Sean Payton's offensive line here in a third straight week where they're going to try to figure out an issue at getting a healthy body at left guard?
Yeah, well, I mean, they're not going to be able to do anything right now. It looks like probably Throckmorton is going to step in. I don't know why they're not going to use Palczewski. I think they like him as the guy that can be a backup at a guard and tackle, so that maybe they can not have to activate as many as offensive linemen as usual because of his versatility. I think he's a better player than Throckmorton and probably would fit in there at the guard better, but I think they like that versatility. So we'll see what happens, but it's a little too late. I think they need to make that trade that I talked about a couple weeks ago that I wrote about. I think they need to go out there and see if they can make that trade, because that Wattenberg is versatile. He could slide over into that guard if needed, put McCoy in at center and just get it done, because they're going to have to do something, because Ben Powers isn't coming back for a while. He's going to be out till December.
They're hoping he can come back in December. And to be honest with you, doesn't it feel like Alex Palczewski is being punished for being such a good run blocker? I mean, he's such a good run blocker that we don't want to take him away from being the 6th offensive lineman. Last I checked, Garrett Bowles and Mike McGlinchey were doing pretty well run blocking. I don't understand it. I want Alex Palczewski there too. It doesn't make sense to me, but Sean's stubborn where Sean is stubborn. And it also kind of makes you wonder what the defense is going to do when guys come back. I'm talking about the offense not having a guard to stand on. And then in the same light, we're teasing Dre Greenlaw and his comeback.
Yeah.
What does a Dre Greenlaw comeback look like? Who's playing less? Because I'm with you, Tom. An inside linebacker upgrade is desperately needed yesterday, 2 years ago. And this Broncos team is not doing it. We thought they would come in and do it in free agency, but we knew what we were getting in an injured and banged up Greenlaw. Shame on us for thinking he would be available as we sit here 3 weeks into October this Sunday. If Dre Greenlaw comes back, does Justin Sternad take a step back from this defense? Does Alex Singleton? I mean, Vance Joseph has to have Alex Singleton out there. He's made that clear. Justin Sternad is playing pretty decent football, in my opinion, Tom. I want Dre out there. Dare I say I'd rather see a Dre Justin Sternad combo as opposed to Singleton?
I don't know, man. I don't think so. I think Sternad would be the one that takes the step back. I do think they're going to be careful giving him too much snaps. So at first, I'm talking about Greenlaw. If he's healthy, yeah, they're going to put him out there, but he has not practiced or played in forever. So they're probably not going to have him step right in and take all the snaps. So you're still going to see a lot of Singleton and Sternad, but I think Sternad is going to get more snaps on special teams when Greenlaw starts coming back, and that's what they needed. He's a special teams player. That's what he has made his NFL career about, and has been forced into starting a few times. So I think that's what's going to happen. Singleton's not going to be playing special teams. It's going to be Singleton and Greenlaw, but you're not going to see a lot of Greenlaw snaps right away. I think this first game he might play some, but you're not going to see him playing the whole game. That's my take on it, because he needs to get back into that quote unquote football shape that they talk about.
Yeah, it's tough, man, too, because it takes these guys a while. And by these guys, I mean September. When you look at the Broncos up and down September, and now they're starting to, that defense, at least, they're firing on all cylinders here. And it just, I don't know. Are we being too hard on the inside linebackers, Tom?
No.
Well, maybe. Are we being too hard? Because I look at the defense as a whole, and you're like, damn, the pass rush is just, we can say elite, but now it's getting dangerous when you start looking at potential records being broken in the NFL. When you look at Nick Bonito, who's a favorite to win Defensive Player of the Year right now. When you look at Jonathon Cooper, back-to-back pass rushers in 2 weeks that win AFC Defensive Player of the Year. You look at the secondary that seems to be doing just fine in their own right. I mean, what Pat Surtain did to Garrett Wilson, I mean, good Lord, he just continues to go. And it's interesting. It's fun. And speaking of fun, our guy Gene William over on Facebook having all kinds of fun with us on MHI on his Wednesday, saying, what is up, boys? Is the Brace Girdle family going to have the pleasure of meeting you both this weekend? I, unfortunately, will not be in the house, but my loss is your gain. Tom will be representing MHI. It just happened to be one of those years. It didn't work out for me. I do apologize. However, all the podcast hosts are going to be there. Chad's going to be there. Zach's going to be there. Scott Kennedy's going to be there, right? Our morning crew's going to be there. We've got you covered. So can't wait to have you guys out there. Take all kinds of pictures. Get at me anytime at Luke Patterson LP. Always happy to wrap football with Broncos country. And Tom, you've been to a few meet and greets now, and we've been to one together. We kind of miss each other when we go and try to represent. But they're a lot of fun, man. I'm really excited for you to go. I hate to say it. I don't think the meet and greet has a particularly I don't know, not well, but a win-loss record. Like, I don't know how many Broncos wins happen with these MHH meet and greets. So we got to change that. We got to get some Mile High Magic.
I think it's a good record. Every time I've been there, they've won.
They lost to the Packers when we were there, didn't they?
No, they beat the Packers.
Did they?
Yeah, when I go watch a game live, we've always won.
Well, there you go. Tom is going to be in the house, and you guys are going to be getting a win. So, Gene, I appreciate all the love, man. Thank you very much. Ralph, appreciate you guys. You guys are killer. Oh, Scott weighing in. Steelers was the first loss last year. That's right, Scott. I got to hang out with Scott last year. We were eating Mexican food the night before, right? And then we're out there and tailgating. It's a lot of fun, man. I encourage everybody to go and get at Scout Kennedy as well, because Scott's a lot of fun. Phil McLaughlin out here. What's up, Phil? Filthy Phil over on Facebook. Good evening, Thomas, Luke, and Deegan Scott. Who is a possible free agent or trade to help this offensive line? Yeah, Tom wrote about it a little bit ago. There's a New Orleans Saints center that we've been eyeing, but at this point, I think a warm body at offensive guard would suffice. Tom, is there anybody out there sans the New Orleans Saints center that you're eyeing? Because I'm getting ornery on Twitter, on X, looking at my guy Logan Wilson out of Wyoming. He's getting benched out there in Cincinnati because Zach Taylor knows better. And I'm like, Sean, you got to call. I get it. Dre Greenlaw, I get it. Wait. Hurry up and wait. Go get Logan Wilson. Is there an offensive guard that the Broncos should be looking at, or any free agents? I saw they did bring a new guy to the practice squad today.
Yeah, I really don't know who's out there. I mean, I still think you go after that center. And back when I wrote that 2 weeks ago, it was a healthy team on the offensive line. And I was like, hey, we just, what they need to look at is an upgrade to the weak spot of that line. So now you still got to upgrade. I still think you should upgrade the center with that trade, because you'll have a good center for a few more years, because Wattenberg is a free agent. You're not going to, I don't think you want to retain him. Go get someone that you can lock up for a couple more years. They're only 14 days apart in age. So you're not like getting older or anything if you're going out and getting Eric McCoy. But as far as guards, I have not really done a bunch of research to find out who would even be available. But the place you look is the Saints. Do they have a guard that they're willing to part with, because they're so far over the cap right now? They're going to have to make some changes. They're going nowhere fast right now. Go see if they have someone that, like you said, a warm body that they can give you in trade to get that offensive line back up to somewhat healthy.
All right. Chase Wellner's got our back, an exclusive member of the MHH community and a good friend of the show. Some people are saying you got to go get after the Cleveland Browns offensive line. That's fine with me. Wyatt Teller's welcome in Denver any day of the week, as far as I'm concerned. What's the other guy? Joel Bettino. I don't really know that offensive line.
He's been around a long time. Joel Bettino.
Okay.
He's a good center. I think he was an all-pro for a while. I don't know how well
he's playing guard
now.
He's playing guard now. So to your point, he's versatile. Maybe you get him in, have a workout. I do like Wyatt Teller. I've been a Wyatt Teller fan for many years. I don't think he's like some franchised guard tackle that you just can't live without. But I think he's very serviceable. And Brandon Briggs is coming in, a serviceable member of the MHH community of $5. Thank you very much for your support. I love the pod. Denver Broncos for life, guys. What do you think can help the offensive production? Do you think we are finally seeing Ingram come into form? Dre Greenlaw, baby. Yeah, here's the thing, Brandon, and I'm writing about it for one of my keys to victory against the New York Giants. It'll be out tomorrow evening at milehighhuddle.com. We took a dive into it, and it shouldn't shock anybody. The easiest way to camouflage an injured offensive line or a horrible offensive line is by running the football. Sean Payton is so bipolar when it comes to this play calling and his utilization of running the ball. It was putrid against the Jets. Absolutely putrid. The Broncos currently today, they possess the 7th best rushing unit in the league, averaging 130 yards per game. However, they only got 3 first downs rushing against the Jets and 78 total rushing yards. Are you kidding me? That's more than a left guard who's playing with his blown out knee. And can we talk about that, by the way? Did the guy report it? Did he's like, hey, man, there's something wrong with my knee? And Sean's like, well, good luck. You know about Terrell Davis, right? He played hurt. What is going on there? I mean, it's starting to feel a little irresponsible. I don't know. He's not running the ball when he should. I was sitting there saying, man, you should be able to run over this Jets defense so bad that I was afraid J.K. Dobbins would be overutilized, Tom. I was thinking this needed to be the Tyler Bidet Harvey show. Yeah. It was 0 running inside. It wasn't a priority, and it was another one of those famous Sean moments where he gets up there and said, we got to be more balanced, and it starts with the play calling. I'm done with it, Tom. I don't know what to do here other than tell Brandon, until Sean commits completely to running the football, you're going to see a very anxious, and you think you saw happy feet with Bo Nix the last few weeks? Wait until the 3rd string offensive guard's in the mix.
Yeah, running the ball is definitely a key, but they also got to get out of their own way. They got to stop making mistakes. That's the bottom line. The offensive coaches, play caller, Sean Payton, and the offensive player, the mental part of the game still seems to elude them. The play calling's wasn't very good against the Jets, I didn't think. I think they made mental errors. Those are the things that you can clean up. You can't go get a all-pro guard to fill in that spot, but you can definitely stop, hurting yourself with self-inflicted wounds. And that's what was happening out there. From my perspective, stop getting in your own way. And Sean Payton is, as you alluded to with the run game, not really alluded to, but straight up said, he's not running the ball. Get out of your own way. Go make the smart play here. Don't get too over creative. Just run the freaking ball, man. Just go out there and do it.
We need to do some paint by numbers for the Broncos running game, or at least for Sean Payton, because they've proven to coach they can do it. It's just him. He's not getting out of his own way. And Gene coming in here. Thanks, Gene, man. Appreciate you circling back around. Ralph and I will have a cold brew for you, Luke. Can't wait to meet you and chat, Tom. Yeah, have about 6 or 7, Gene. Have a great time. Just be safe out there. Have fun, man. Hydrate. I don't know what the weather's going to be like this weekend in Denver. I've heard rumors. There's some snow on the hills. It could be a little chilly, but remember sunscreen, guys. I got burned last time, Tom. Bad. We were out there. I feel like I get burned every time we're out there, but make sure you guys all have fun. And speaking of the man himself, Ralph Bracegirdle, there he is. $5 over on YouTube. What up, Ralph? The offense historically rebounds after a bad performance. Yeah, I think you're right, Ralph. I see where you're going, and you're trying to bring some optimism because a win was a win. And here we are complaining about the linebackers, the health, and the play calling. It's because we're not satisfied, Broncos country, right? We haven't seen that blowout other than Cincinnati Bengals, and we all know why that happened. Uncle Joey wasn't playing, all right? Joe Burrow's playing that game. Maybe it's a little more competitive. Maybe it's a little bit different. I hope they rebound. I don't know what that looks like if it's not running the ball. To me, it's the easiest formula. You look at the Giants, and I'm not trying to give away everything of my takeaways articles, but Sexy Dexy, Dexter Lawrence, he's going to try to raise some hell. There's not a ton of mammoths that I consider absolutely dangerous on the Giants D-line. He's not a Quentin Williams type, but we could get there if you're playing against a third-string guard. It's just, man, Tom, the Broncos, they quite literally need to hold the line.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, I hope they rebound. The problem I guess the reason why I'm complaining a little bit about the win is because we know this team can be better. We know this team has aspirations that lead up to the Super Bowl. And what they've put out so far is not giving anyone confidence that actually will be realized. So that's the problem. And I think, even though we saw the win, we're still complaining because there's a lot more work to do. And I think they should be farther along at this point in the season than they are. And that's why it's kind of disappointing. That's why we're still complaining about it. I know it seems weird that we're complaining. It's still a win. And you take a win when you travel to London, you travel to these international games, you never know what's going to happen. There's fatigue, there's jet lag, there's all that kind of stuff that's going on. You're not in any familiar spot. So I can understand it a little bit, but that's the problem with me is we should see more out of this team right now from an offensive perspective and a special teams perspective than we're seeing right now. And if we really believe that Sean Payton thinks this is a team that can contend for the Super Bowl, they better start showing up more than they have been so far.
Well, and I wrote that down, right? What you said, quote, "We know this team can be better." And you're absolutely right, because we know this team can be better against bad teams, against winless teams. You did what you did to the Cincinnati Bengals on Monday Night Football in Denver. I hear you, Tom. There's a lot to the international games. That's why I don't like it. It's inconvenient for everybody, namely me. But it's one of these things where you got to just get through it. You got to kind of get past it, bite your lip, and suck it up. We don't know that this Broncos team can be better against good teams. Yeah. But we can only get indications of what that potential matchup's eventually going to look like. And it doesn't matter. You're playing a bad team. You're playing a good team. Again, and I challenge everybody this week. This could be a weekly thing here on MHI. Go pick them. Do an NFL pick them this week and see how many you get right. I do it every single week. And every single week, Tom, I just get obliterated because it's truly the league of parity. It's what makes the NFL king. I absolutely love it. Phil McLaughlin, this is a game that Bo needs to use his legs and use the RPO. Giants' weakness is cornerback, in my opinion. So move Bo and let him have the option. Oh, Bo Nix, the athlete, man, is so good. And this offense does so much better when Bo is improvising, when he's playing loose, when he's trying to be the next coming of Peyton Manning out of the pocket. Things still aren't hooking up. The deep ball, Tom, we can't find it.
Yeah. Well, how about some play action too? Let's get the run game going, get some play action. Let's, don't be so predictable. That's what it seemed like. Is it was just too predictable. There's no balance. Like get the running game going, get some play action, get some different stuff going on, get some motion going. I mean, I don't understand. Like they are some of the least motion team out there.
Pre-snap
One of the least
motion,
motion teams out there. Like do something, get some creativity, but don't get so
cute,
creative and fancy that you end up doing something dumb. Like just be a solid football team, but have some creativity. That's all we're asking.
Sean's been getting away with it, the little QC stuff for a long time, and the Broncos are winning games right now, so he's getting away with it. But it's really interesting to me, and I guess if I were to ask a question around there, like, and you really want an insider at MHI, if we really wanted an inside scoop, and if we really wanted to ask the inside question, I would ask, who in that organization, who on that coaching staff that's not an owner, right? The owners can't be coaches, but who in that building can challenge Sean Payton? Anybody?
Nobody.
Can anybody say, Coach, you might want to rethink that move? I know he's got a best friend that's followed him everywhere. The name is escaping me. You see it on social media. John Gruden just took pictures with him. He's kind of like Sean's assistant, more or less. They're very close. Almost like a John Elway, Matt Russell role, where you've got two executives and that are always kind of together. That's Sean and this guy. I don't know if it's him. I don't know if it's Bo Nix. Do we even have an offensive coordinator? I heard there's Joe Lombardi's supposed to be the guy. I'm not sure what his role is. I mean, seriously, who is going to take the keys away from Grandpa? Because right now it's not working. The play calling's not working. I'm not suggesting that we scrap Sean and go to Lombardi. I'm suggesting that there be a voice of reason on that headset that's like, Coach, we may want to rethink this move. Yeah. Coach, we may want to run the ball here. Coach, why are we going empty set here? I mean, does that exist, Tom? Do you hope it exists? Do you think it exists? Who is that guy, if any?
I hope so, but so far we haven't seen it. We haven't seen the voice of reason because it continues to happen. So maybe there isn't a voice of reason, or maybe there is, and Sean Payton's like, yeah, guess what? I'm not doing it anyway.
Alyssa coming in here and say, Condoleezza Rice. We gotta get Lisa up in there. I need Condi to get in Sean's headset a little bit. I don't need Condi to go full like Mrs. Irsay. I don't know what the proper term is. Right? How weird is that, right? Out there in Indy. I mean, the Davis family thinks that's meddling. It's kind of odd to see what's going on with the Colts, even though they're still winning their ownership. It's just really tough. Carmichael, thank you, Bronco Danny. Carmichael is the name of Sean's most bottom guy, if you will, his best pal over there with the Broncos. I don't know. Is it Carmichael? Who can tell Sean Payton no? Because that needs to happen. And I got to tell you, if you're asking me, there's only one man over there who can compete with Sean. There's only one man over there who can yell at Sean and get away with it. And his name is Bo Chapman Nix. And I don't think Bo's a yeller. I think obviously Bo is very, he's an emotional man. And congratulations to Bo, huh? And the Nix family that are expecting their first kid. That's awesome. I think Bo's the only guy right now that can kind of challenge Coach. But he can't challenge him in the middle of the game, right? He can't sit there and challenge him. We can't see the little spats that Coach and Bo have and then digest them every week and wonder if things okay. He can't do it in real time. I need that to happen in the film room. I need that to happen with the game planning. And I'm not suggesting Sean turn the reins over to Bo, saying, hey, Bo, tell me what you want to do this week. No. How about if Bo says, this isn't working, does Sean listen? Or does Sean just scrap it because Sean knows best? These are the things we are wondering here in Broncos country because the offensive play calling, Tom, you said it. It's predictable and it's not getting any better.
Yeah, I would hope that there is that. You would hope that there's different voices in those meetings. But the problem is when it comes to the actual play calling during the game, it creeps back up. So whatever they are strategizing, whatever plays they have scripted, whatever they're doing during the week to prepare to get those play calls in. It seems like during the game, in the certain situations, it's not matching because I mean, we're sitting here saying that those play calls didn't make sense. Um, what are like NFL folks thinking? Like, what are they thinking?
Defensive
Are they,
coordinators, they're planning. You mean
yeah,
what are the Giants defense thinking that's
yeah,
planning for Bo right
exactly.
now?
Like if they're that predictable and that or that the situation that they're calling those plays in don't really match the situation. Like, I mean, they've got to be kind of thinking what's going on with this with Sean Payton's ability to call plays, and that was my worry for Vance Joseph. But he actually is doing the better job of
Yeah,
situational play calling
that was
than Sean Payton is.
that was one of my takeaways was like VJ can no longer be blamed for the run game right now. The defense is doing quite well against the run. You're starting to see things change for the better, but not offensively. It's tough. And Jeremy's bringing up a good point here, man. Sean didn't trust the offensive line after the safety. What was with that? Was that just a bad call or Quinn Miners, a holding call in the end zone, resulting in a 2-point penalty? It felt like here we go again, right? Broncos country. And I don't know, Quinn, man, maybe you just got caught. Maybe you did hold. I don't know. It's tough. There's holding on every play. So I don't have sour grapes at the referees for calling that. Right. I mean, I see Alyssa in here. She's like, well, who throws it on goal line? Like run the football because at least you don't want the safety to happen. And it's things like that Broncos country, they're getting a little bit frustrated with. They're not seeing the little bit of change that they need to see each week. They're seeing 2 steps forward, 1 step back. We still won. So, hey. At least that's kind of where we're all at. Embrace Girdle. What up, Ralph? Coming back in. Giants fans are asking what can stop Dart and Scatabo. Our buddy Cecil Lammy says it's a GED test. Oh man, I like Jackson Dart. I do. I liked him a lot at Ole Miss. I don't think I'm not going to say he's a Hall of Famer. If there's some element of Jackson Dart's game that I don't like, he's got some Drew Lock to his game, and I think we may see that a little bit come Sunday here in Denver, Colorado. And I like watching Scatabo, but I've got a plan for Scatabo too, a Scatano, if you will, and you can read it over at milehighhuddle.com. Cecil Lammy, up to no good, a good friend of mine and a good friend of the show. I love it, Ralph. Say what's up to Cecil for me when you see him on Sunday. I miss that cat. Phil McLaughlin coming back in here. Maybe Peyton needs to get rid of the 20 pages of plays. Hey, and go to 1 page. Stop the delay of game penalties as well. Yeah, Tom, you talked about it. I mean, the penalties are killer. Why does it feel like it's still taking so long to get the damn play out? Is it Sean's indecisiveness? Because maybe, Phil, you're onto something here. We need to get simple. Right. I saw Chad and Zach talking about it, but we need to get simple. Sean's got all these plays and he can't pick one. You don't know what you should have about 5 or 6 plays ready to go on second down, coach. It's all been scripted. What are we waiting for? With you, Phil.
Maybe he's the one that is actually in his head is the person that's second guessing. Maybe it's himself. Maybe he's like, oh, I'm going to run this play. And then, no, I'm going to run this play. And that's why it's taking so long. Maybe he's the one that's the voice in his own ear saying, wait a minute, should we really run that play? And
yeah,
who knows?
That would make sense, Tom. That happens to me all the time. If I'm going to be totally honest, and laugh at me all you want, everybody. I get in my own head way too much, right? I worry about things that never come to fruition. I'm a bit of an overthinker. Maybe that's it. Maybe that's why I like Sean Payton, because we're both crazy and can't make a decision. I don't know. It should just be one of those things. You're right, Tom. I mean, talk to me about the script. Does an NFL play calling script still have a place in the 2025 NFL? Because I'm spoiled watching the script. I grew up with Mike Shanahan as the head coach of the Denver Broncos. I saw what a script could do against a Bill Belichick defense for multiple years and how that was ultimately used against the Patriots. But defense eventually had to evolve as well. You see a Giants team that's coming in off of an Eagles loss. And what's going on with Papa Vic Fangio's Eagles, by the way? Good Lord, the defense. The Broncos beat the Eagles and everything has gone to hell ever since. I don't know, Tom. Do you think coach should still be scripting these plays? Does it work in 2025, or is it just him not picking the right ones?
I think the script is fine. I think I think when they get, they sit down, they make those, everybody should be coming together. All the coaches should be coming together to help facilitate that scripting of the plays. But I think that when they were going up tempo, I think that was they got a little bit more rhythm a few times. There's got to be some change to it. They can still do the script, but maybe make a few changes, make something else, go a little up tempo, things like that instead of being that kind of predictable, we're going to run these plays and they know what's coming, or they second guess it or whatever. Try something a little bit different, still use the same plays, still use the same script, but try something a little bit different. Maybe run a no huddle, get something going a little bit differently, get them out of their own heads, maybe get some rhythm going. Whatever they got to do, they've got to do something to kind of get that offense going. Someone said for the full 60 minutes, that would be great. Get that offense going for the full 60 minutes would be awesome.
Well, and if coach doesn't want to do it in the game, could we try it with the scout offense? You got nothing to lose there. Can we try it in practice a little bit? Can we give Lombardi a shot at play calling and just see what the Broncos defense reacts to? I mean, it would truly be different. We know that. I mean, maybe we don't know that. It's hard to get an eye on what Lombardi wants to do when we don't know what Sean Payton wants to do. And I don't know if Lombardi's just there because he's Sean's buddy, more of an offensive assistant. It's tough. And it's making folks ask questions like David right now. David Yonkin, again, very active in our chat, an MHH super chat superstar. When will we finally see a full 60-minute game from the Denver Broncos offense? This Sunday, David. This Sunday. All right. Because optimism is there. It's the MHH meet and greet. Tom's going to be there. Scott's going to be there. Look for the big blue tent, and lot D is in Delta. It's happening this weekend. There's something special going on in Denver, Colorado as we speak. This Broncos team, they didn't necessarily limp out of London with a win, but they survived. The offense survived and the defense thrived. That was the story of Broncos UK 2025. When you have this defense doing what they are doing, and Broncos country knows all too well on the 10-year anniversary of the Super Bowl 50 team, what a good defense can do for you, it has to inspire this offense to do something. How do you think Bo Nix feels? Cortland Sutton feels? Garrett Bowles feels? Coming off the field, having to look the defense in the eye. That bleep gets old real quick when you're losing games. The problem, the Broncos are winning games right now. So I'm sure Bo wants to turn things around just as much as anybody. But I'm going to say there's a little mile-high magic in the air. Call me crazy. I think there's something special about Denver home games. Hasn't been like that for a very long time. Sean, your playoff Broncos, they've changed things. Your franchise quarterback, they've changed things. I want Broncos country to be electric. I want them to erupt. After all, Mr. Unlimited, Russell Wilson, bench warmer extraordinaire, he's coming home.
Well, and this might be what is the kind of elixir that gets the Broncos offense moving again. Coming back, they're at home. They've got alumni weekend. They're, immortalizing Demaryius Thomas in the Ring of Fame. Like, if you can't get your team going this weekend with that kind of stuff going on, then you definitely have a problem. But I think they will. I think that's the magic elixir that I'm talking about. That means something to the team. It means something to the players. It means something to the fans. Getting back from London, having that home game, having this stretch of games that should be winnable. I think they're going to start to see something turn around, and it starts this weekend.
I love it. Our guy Keith showing some love over on Facebook. What's up, Keith? Good to see you, man. Hopefully your family is doing well. Many blessings to you and yours. Thomas and Luke, it's good to see you guys. I wonder who the wide receiver 2 on this team is, but more importantly, who is it versus the Giants? Yeah, Troy Franklin continues to get in Bo Nix's vision, right? But there's been some inconsistencies with not only the Broncos offense, but the Broncos wide receivers. It's either Cortland and somebody else, or it's Cortland. Does that change against the New York Giants? Because Evan Ingram, he's starting to get sprinkled in a little bit. Marvin Mims is there. Troy Franklin, he wants to hit home runs on every play. Someone needs to learn that he can't.
Yeah. Well, and that fumble's probably not going to help his playing time. Maybe, I don't know. So I think still Marvin Mims is the wide receiver 2. But
Yep.
last week was just a poor performance all around. So it's kind of tough to, if you're performing pretty poorly, you're not getting, Cortland Sutton involved. You're not getting Mims involved. I mean, it was just a rough outing. So I think that changes. I think you're going to see a better passing game, hopefully a better running game. And hopefully you'll see that number 2 emerge, which is still probably Marvin Mims for my take.
Yeah, don't worry about Evan Ingram, folks, because you have a wide open Nate Atkins. Right? How about that last week? A wide open Nate Atkins, man. Touchdown.
Yeah.
Nate Atkins, again, scored the same number of touchdowns as Troy Franklin, Marvin Mims, Evan Ingram, and RJ Harvey as Broncos receivers, if you will.
Yep.
One. That's it. The only receiver with multiple touchdowns is Cortland Sutton with 3. And you look at the first downs, it doesn't get much better. Troy Franklin definitely has more first downs than Marvin and Evan. And it's just indicative of this Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde offense. It's troubling, but I'm not giving up on it. The Broncos are winning games. Remember in 2015, all the ugly games that the Broncos won? I know we were talking about the Browns earlier. That was one of the ugliest games that I had ever seen up until that point, was Peyton Manning's offense in the dog pound against the Cleveland Browns. The defense ultimately comes through. We don't talk about any of those games, but we all limped through it. We all got there. And yes, I still remember everybody calling for Brock Osweiler. I haven't forgotten. It's just crazy, man, when you look at the Giants coming in, because I'm not sleeping on New York. I'm really not. They're doing quite well. They're starting to feel confident because of their 2 rookies, right? And of course, everybody's talking about Jackson Dart and Cam Scatterbo. And Scatterbo with 3 touchdowns against Vic Fangio's historic defense, right? Famed defense, if you will. And I think the Giants are looking to prove something. If the Giants can come in here and hang with the Denver Broncos, I said hang. They're not going to beat them. I said hang with, compete with. They're going to be feeling good, because we all remember what it felt like to have a quarterback carousel, a head coaching carousel. Do you think the Giants have finally found their guy in Jackson Dart?
I would think so. He sure has infused enthusiasm into that team, for sure.
Man.
I mean, it's a night and day difference between what Russell Wilson was doing on the field and Jackson Dart was doing on the field. It seems like a different attitude coming from that team now.
Yeah. You mean Russell Wilson? His 0-3 start? Is that what we're talking about?
Didn't instill a lot of confidence, for sure. But they also get to come in and face a defense that's a relentless pass rush defense with a rookie. Yeah, he's done pretty well, but this is a different level when you're facing a Broncos pass rush that has just been getting after people. It's just it is a relentless pass rush from the
30 sacks, Tom.
Yeah.
30 and
it's
6
mind-boggling.
games.
It is a mind-boggling number that they have 30 sacks already. They're on a torrid pace. They could break the record, which is it's kind of shocking to me, because in today's day and age, when the quick passing game, getting the ball out of the quarterback's hands right away, that they even have a chance to do that, to beat the 84 Bears record from decades ago. It's crazy.
No, it's great. Jeremy's in here, man. Jeremy, you've been all kinds of ornery tonight in the chat, and I absolutely love it, because I'm a child and I'm a fool. I'm a sucker for play on words. We need to make Dart sharp the bed. Here's the thing. Jackson Dart's athletic. He's confident, and he's got this Giants offense to believe. He also has a starting running back, rookie tandem, right? And they got something to learn. I remember what Jonathon Cooper said in his interview after London. And yes, I'm talking about your favorite Broncos pass rusher, Jonathon Cooper, AFC Defensive Player of the Week. Just the second one to get that in a row the last 2 weeks behind Nick Bonito. It looks like they're racing, Tom. It looks like they are in a race to get to the quarterback. When you look at Nick Bonito and Jonathon Cooper on film over and over, so much so that sometimes they're over pursuing and they're crossing paths. And I'm even wondering at some point, like, ooh, don't hit each other's knees. Don't step on an ankle. I mean, these guys are screaming in here. And while I can respect what Jackson Dart is bringing to this anemic New York Giants offense, we have to remember Jackson Dart's 2-1 in his starts. He's got Big Blue Wonder, and if they found something, he's going to run into a nasty animal when it comes into the Denver Broncos MHH meet and greet this Sunday. Remember, Jackson Dart has been sacked 8 times in the last 3 games. He's got 2 interceptions and 2 fumbles. He's a rookie. He's naive. He's exciting and he's inexperienced. We're talking about the pass rush. Can we see a little bit more from the secondary? I need turnovers, Tom.
Yeah.
Sacks are a blast, and maybe we need to get after Nick Bonito and Jonathon Cooper for not stripping those sacks, right? Everybody around here wants to talk about Vaughn and DeMarcus and can they be better? Last I remember, Vaughn and DeMarcus were stripping the football out of these quarterbacks' hands. They're winning Super Bowls, Pro Bowls, All Pros. I need this defense to get turnovers, Tom. Why can't they get the football?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm not going to compare them yet to two Hall of Famers, two of the best that ever were that played edge rusher. But they are definitely getting after the quarterback. But you're right. I want to see more turnovers too. I want to see forced fumbles. I want to see some interceptions because that's what's going to get more chances for the offense to get more in sync. So let's see some more turnovers created by the Broncos defense. Now we're talking about Jonathon Cooper, we're talking about Nick Bonito, but we seem to forget about the interior passers. Everybody was involved in sacking Justin Fields last weekend. I mean, you've got interior guys sacking the quarterback, 9 sacks. It was a tremendous all-around performance. So we tend to overlook what the interior is doing, but it's the interior guys too that are helping Bonito and Cooper get these sacks. So kudos all around. This team, the whole front 5 there has been very impressive so far this season when it comes to pass rush.
Well, and you're right to bring up the interior because David's asking the question. If you're the New York Giants, who do you double team, Nick Bonito or Jonathon Cooper? And David, you're right. That's a good question. And Tom's mentioning the interior defensive line. It's no walk in the park blocking Zach Allen, John Franklin Myers, Malcolm Roach, who just returned. I mean, your guy Uzurike, Tom. He's
involved too.
these interior D linemen are getting nasty. So that is the problem. I guess, David, to answer your question for me, it all depends. You got a right-handed or left-handed quarterback. Left-handed quarterbacks, they don't work. Sorry. Just the way it is. So for me, you've always got to watch that blind side, man. And the way Nick comes out, man. And Coop put lots of muscle on, I think, man. He's playing different. He's not so light. He's playing a little more anchored. And I think he was playing at such a lightweight in his previous seasons that he was getting bossed around on the edge a little bit in terms of the run game. And that's not something you're seeing this year. I'm excited to see what Vance Joseph's defense can do against a Jackson Dart and Cam Scatabo-led offense. It's exciting. They have a lot of momentum, but this Denver defense, Tom, I think they can truly be something special. They can put together a win streak here. They can put together some sack records. Again, the sack record ain't going to matter if this Denver offense can't get its what together and score football points. Something we got to look into. Broncos country, we are in our final couple of minutes of the show. Fun show. We were talking Jets leftovers. Jackson Dart, Cam Scatabo coming into the Mile High City. It's the MHH meet and greet this Sunday. And we want to get to you guys for some of the final few questions and minutes. David, coming back in again, man. Would the Broncos put Bonito and Cooper on the same side? I hope not, because that would be just an irresponsible allocation of resources, in my opinion. I see where David's going. Is there a NASCAR package, or is there some silly sort of defense that we haven't seen yet? Just because Vance Joseph hasn't had to call it. When you're out there getting 30 sacks in 6 games, you don't need to change it.
Yeah. Why change something that's working so well? I mean, they can't really double team Bonito and Cooper because, like I said, the interior pass rush then would command a lot more. You got Zach Allen, who, he's still playing well. He doesn't have gaudy sack numbers, but he's playing great. You start double teaming Bonito, you start double teaming Cooper, you're going to see Franklin Myers, you're going to see Zach Allen, them getting to the quarterback. So it's like a pick your poison sort of thing. And if they're trying to, stop the edge guys, you're going to see the interior get the, more of the sack numbers, so to speak. But right now it's kind of tough. They're Bonito and Cooper too. And I'm impressed with Cooper. He is so much quicker off the ball than he's been his entire career. So you say maybe he got bigger. Well, somehow he got a little bit faster too, because we knew Bonito had a quick first step, but Cooper is impressive how quickly he is getting across that offensive line.
Yeah, he's starting to get dangerous, right? Trying to time up that cadence and everything. And we see him get got every once in a while. You saw Nick get got a couple weeks ago, a couple times too. And just real quick on Zach Allen, just to piggyback on that point. if people want to go to the whole Von DeMarcus thing with Nick Bonito and Jonathan Cooper, go for it. Be my guest. Call me when they win a Super Bowl and we'll have that conversation. It's exciting to be there. But if those guys are Miller and Ware, Zach Allen is Derek Wolfe, because he is holding it down in the middle of that D line. He's doing the dirty work so these guys can go get their sacks. And he's the reason, Tom, like you said, that you can't just go traditional double team on one of these guys, because you're going to have a straight path wide open. And I'm hoping that means Dre Greenlaw is going to be there. And I hope Dre Greenlaw can introduce himself to Jackson Dart this Sunday in Denver, Colorado. That'd be a lot of fun.
Broncos country, man.
It's been a lot of fun with you guys. A fun, exciting show, a fun, exciting contest. MHH meet and greet this Sunday. Lot D is in Delta. Look for the big blue tent. It says MHH all over it. You guys will have a blast. I can't wait to hear and see how it's going. Tom and I will be back next Wednesday as well for MHI at 6 p.m. Hopefully we're talking about a 4-game winning streak, undefeated in the month of October, undefeated at home, and undefeated against rookie quarterbacks. That sounds good to me, Tom. Cam Ward, we knocked him out. Jackson Dart, another one's going to bite the dust.
Yeah, let's hope. I mean, let's hope. And what'll be great too about coming back next week is because we're coming. If we come off of, we get to see a win. Great. Also got alumni weekend, but we're going to have somebody, a very special guest, who can talk about it, because he's going to be at alumni weekend. He's going to be there with the Denver Broncos. So next week, Rick Upchurch, one of the greatest and was the greatest returner until Devin Hester came along of all time, is going to join us next Wednesday. So don't miss it, because I'm going to be. It's going to be interesting to talk to him. He seems like a very, very nice guy, very knowledgeable. So,
boom, Rick Upchurch, 3-time first-team All-Pro, second-team All-Pro, 4 Pro Bowls for your Denver Broncos. It's going to be a lot of fun. Tom's been working on this for a little bit. Super excited that you got to break that news, man. Rick Upchurch will be in the house on MHI next Wednesday night. Broncos country, another fun show. Get at Tom on X at Thomas Hall NFL. Yours truly at Luke Patterson LP. Head on over to the mothership tomorrow, milehighhuddle.com. My 3 keys to victory are dropping against the New York Giants. Also follow Scott at Scout Kennedy. What else we got, Tom? Giants week, baby. Let's go.
Giants week. That's it, man. We just, I can't wait to go out there and see everybody at the meet and greet, meet people again, a second time or the first time. It's been a while since it's been out there. I missed last year. So I'm excited. I can't wait to get out there and say hi to everybody.
Stay away from those sweatpants, Tom. Broncos country into the New York Giants, back at home, Mile High City, MHH meet and greet. This is the way.
This is the way.